I read 8 books in March. The first book I read was Daisy Hates. This is the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe, which, can we talk about these covers? I mean, come on, they are so good. So I filmed this video, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I just slayed that. And then I'm going back and editing, and I'm like, oh, that made no sense what I just said. So, yeah. This is the Magnolia Parks universe. There's Magnolia Parks 1, and there's Magnolia Parks 2, right? And then there's Daisy Hates 1, and there's Daisy Hates 2. But these are all one big series. This is how people call them. They're like MP1, MP2, Daisy Hates 1, Daisy Hates 2. But it technically goes, Magnolia Parks is the first book, Daisy Hates is the second book, Magnolia Parks is the third book, Daisy Hates is the fourth book. The whole Magnolia Parks universe is like high society London. And they follow like kind of this like circle there. So this book specifically follows Daisy, who is the younger sister of like the most powerful gang lord, and Christian, who is another gang lord. And guys, I loved it. I'm a really big fan of Jessa Hastings' writing. I really loved her writing in the first book, Magnolia Parks, too. And all of these characters are like introduced in the first book, but they have like their own book, and it's so good. I tabbed both of these books pretty well. I tried to like match the covers with my tabs. Like these are all like blue and stuff. I love it. I love her writing. And one thing about this, I did give this 5 stars, but one thing about it is that it has like, what are those called? Footnotes. They're footnotes. This is when every time I saw a footnote, it was this. I was here. Mentally, I was here. And the only reason I remembered what that was called was because of this song. It is heartbreaking. It's not his best song, but it's a great Conan Gray song. So where they have like the little number somewhere, and then down at the bottom they have her thoughts. That is so annoying to read. Genuinely so annoying to read, but I still loved this book and loved everything that happens in this book. I feel like I should mention this. The Magnolia Parks universe is one of the most toxic things ever. These people are like, I don't know, they are so toxic for each other, but they just have this connection and they feel real. When I'm reading this, I'm like, these are real people. These are not fictional. Anyway, this was the first book I read, and I gave it 5 stars. Okay, the next book I'm talking about, this was actually the last book I read, but it's the 3rd book in the series. I just finished it today. This is technically Magnolia Parks 2, but it's the 3rd book in the series. But this one focuses on Magnolia and BJ again. And I thought, at the time of tabbing this, I was like, oh yeah, like I just tabbed that like crazy. Yeah. Anyway, this book broke me. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me want, I threw it across the room. I'm not even going to say it like made me want to throw it across the room. I did throw it across the room. This book, it put me through a roller coaster of emotions. I finished it this morning actually, and I can't stop thinking about it. Just like what happened just completely blew my mind, and I don't know how to feel, and it left me speechless for 10 minutes. Anyway, this is about Magnolia and BJ, which is who the first book is about, but it's the 3rd. And what is so very disappointing about this is that the next book is about Daisy, right? Which, like, I loved Daisy's book in the first place. But after what this book just did to me, I have to read this, and then the next Magnolia Parks isn't out yet. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to read this and I'm going to get closure. But I'm pretty sure this book takes place at the same time as this book, because this book takes place at the same time as this book. So I don't think I'm getting any closure, but I guess that's fine, because I would read it again, even though it broke me. This book broke me. I would read it again. So I started the Daisy Hates book. This is the next book in the series. I just started it. I'm not very far into it. But the dedication pages, let me just read the dedication page for you. For all the people in my DMs saying I need to pay your therapy bills, I won't do that, but I will dedicate this book to you. She did it for me, guys. She did that for me. And she said, stay that dramatic forever within reason in appropriate circumstances. Probably don't be that dramatic in your daily lives. Regardless, thank you everything. Thank you. Did I say thank you for everything? Thank you for everything. Oh my gosh, like, yeah, no, like, she needs to pay for my therapy at this point. Like, I really can't stop thinking about it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go on. The next book I ended up reading was the next book I read was The Resurrection of Wildflowers, and I tried to tab it, but I didn't really like it, so there wasn't much to tab. This is kind of, like, sad, because the last 2 books were 5 stars, and this I gave 2. It's the second book after The Confidence of Wildflowers, and I gave this book 3 stars, and I really wasn't, I didn't have too high expectations when it came to this book. Oh, also, it's water damaged because it was raining, and it was in my backpack, and my backpack got soaked, and then my book got soaked. Basically, I'll tell you what the first book is about because it's the second book, and the first book kind of ends in a way that I felt like I needed to read the second book because I was like, I have to know what happens next. But I didn't particularly love the first book. It was an age gap romance. It's a girl that just graduated high school, so like it's legal. And her 31-year-old neighbor just moves in, and he's like, he's a little grumpy and he's a little hot, and yeah, what could possibly happen in this romance book? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it though, so I wouldn't really recommend it. I feel like I don't describe books I don't like very well, but there we go. The next book I read was the last book in the Twisted series. The rest of the series is right here. Fun. And like I completely ruined this spine, but it's fine, I guess. If you didn't know, I have a love-hate relationship with the Twisted series. Oh my gosh, that's so funny, because it's Twisted Love and then it's Twisted Hate, and those are the ones I hated. I have like a love-hate relationship with this series because I didn't really like the first or the third, but I really liked the second, so then the fourth was a big question mark for me. I think it is it was like going at a solid 4 stars. I was really enjoying it, and then I thought the end was kind of stupid. So 3.5. This whole series is like companion novels. So this one is about Stella and Christian. Christian is a crime boss. What is he? Is he a gang lord also? Is he a crime boss? I don't know. He's not. He's dangerous. He's villainy. And like rich. He owns the building that Stella moves into, and then Stella has like some issues, and she needs him, basically. And they make a deal to fake date. And honestly, like, I really liked Christian, and Stella was. Stella was kind of bland, but like I really liked it at first and thought it was really cute, and then just I thought it got stupid, but it was still like a nice read. I would, like, if I like had nothing to read, I would pick this up. I liked it, but not like didn't love it though. I don't know. This is definitely a darker romance though, and like if you're into that, I feel like you might like it. Especially like the ending. I don't want to like spoil it. I think if I was more into darker things, I would have liked this more. I would have probably liked the whole series more if I was into darker things, but I'm not. So the next thing I read was The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. This is the second book in the Off-Campus series. It's a hockey romance. I'm trying to remember what happens in this book. I gave it 4 stars. It's like, it's cute. It's a cute hockey romance. John Logan is cute. I mean, like, he's very charismatic, and he's a hockey player. Like, come on. Yeah, it was cute. I think these books are just like cute romances. I don't think you're not gonna get like something like real deep out of them, but I really liked it. Basically Grace is playing hard to get, and Logan's like, I want her. I want her. Yeah, that's what happened. It's good. The next thing I read was I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses. This book I gave 4 stars, and I have a whole entire, like, reading vlog, and, like, if you want to know my opinions on it, you should totally watch it, and it's spoiler-free is the best part. Yeah, I read this book over spring break, and it's pretty good, yeah, pretty good. Fantasy, good, it's a good fantasy romance, Beauty and the Beast retelling. And then I started the second book, and it threw me for a loop. And I have been vlogging, reading the rest of the series, and like the vlog will come eventually, but I've taken a break with this series, so it's not, I don't know when the vlog's gonna come out, but I made one. I'm working on it. Like a third of it is filmed. I read this book and I gave it, it's a little spoiler for that video, but this book I gave it 5 stars. The new characters to die for, and the only reason why I didn't like read more of this series this month is because I have a really hard time reading series straight through. As you can tell by the fact that I've read like so many like mismatched books from series and then the rest of it's not in here. I'm really bad at like reading a book one after the other. So this is the longest book I've ever read, sitting at 624 pages. The next book is 700 pages. I just couldn't do it because I knew I would get bored. Well, I started the next book. I got like 30 pages in and I was having a hard time focusing, so I didn't finish it. This was another book that kind of like, once I finished it, I was a little speechless. I wasn't trying to predict what was gonna happen, and then it just like threw me for a loop. I read this book also this month, Hooked. I gave it 2 stars. Why did I? Oh, because I didn't like it. So this is a dark contemporary romance where it's Captain Hook manipulating Wendy into a relationship. And all the characters are named after different characters in like Peter Pan, which I think is like such a good idea, and I'm really intrigued by this series. And like this cover, hello, that was until Smee and Tina Bell were brought in. I genuinely thought that was so funny. When they said, oh, this is Smee, like I busted out laughing. Same with Tina Bell. I was like, be so for real, be so for real. James and Hook, it's James Hook. That, like, his nickname is Hook, but his name is James. And then he's dating Wendy. Wendy's little brother's John. And Peter is Wendy's dad. But it's contemporary romance. But then, like, Hook is, like, shady. He's, like, shady. Okay, he's supposed to be. He's a crime boss. And one of the things they talk about is selling a drug called pixie dust. I was trying so hard to take this book seriously. I really was, because I was like, this is such a good idea. I couldn't do it. I thought it was so funny. I don't think it's meant to be funny, but it was a quick read. So, I mean, a lot of people really loved this. I couldn't take it seriously, and then the ending was just so, like, been there, done that. I would like to say I have not been there. I have not done that. It was just giving what I was reading on Wattpad in 2020. That's right, yeah. Those are my roots. Yeah, so when I lied in my YouTube video at the beginning of the year saying I started reading Colleen Hoover books, I had a feeling I'd like reading, if you know what I mean. Whatever. I gave it 2 stars, but like a lot of people really enjoyed this book. And then like the next book is Scarred. And I think people like Scarred more than Hooked, so I may or may not read it. I don't know. But yeah, those were the books I read in the month of March. I hope you liked that video. If you did, like, subscribe, obviously. I don't know. New book content will be coming out soon. Hopefully. It should. If it doesn't, My bad.